And thanks for joining us once again. I'm Ann Police.
And I'm Ed Arnold.
Coming up on this edition of Real Orange, in our Healthy OC segment, the havoc one little gland can cause throughout your entire body.
And we'll tell you about a record home sale in Orange County.
Orange County law enforcement agencies are trying to weaken the grip of gangs and the grip they have on kids.
So they're making sure kids are off the streets before they slip into the wrong hands. Reporter David Nazar has the story.
It's Orange County's largest curfew sweep. 18 law enforcement agencies, including the DA's office, gather at the Sheriff's Department training station in Orange late at night to go over the game plan. More than 300 cops from Anaheim, Garden Grove, and Santa Ana to Costa Mesa, Fullerton, and Tustin are going to implement GRIP, the Gang Reduction Intervention Partnership, a collaborative effort not only with the DA and police, but also with the probation department, schools, and community service programs. The intent, to get the kids off the streets before the gangs get them. Police will do this tonight all at once across the county. They're enforcing curfew laws, whereby no one under 18 can be out after 10 or 11 at night, depending on the city, without supervision.
The reason for looking at curfew is because it really is an at-risk behavior for youth. Many of the youth are not otherwise deviant or delinquent, but they're unknowingly sometimes placing themselves in a position that would subject them to dangerous activity by gang members.
The whole notion of GRIP is addressing the 4th to 8th grade students that have low self-esteem, live in the area. A lot of them, kids that we talk to, they're like, that's all I know. We don't get jumped into the gang, we're born into the gang. So it's giving them alternatives.
We rode along with the police unit from Anaheim, just one of the many units that will be combing the streets looking for underage curfew violators. Sergeant Juan Reveles explains that his force has been very proactive and has quelled gang violence to some degree. Nevertheless, the sergeant says there are about 40 gangs in Anaheim that are still wreaking havoc on the city and its children.
That's actually the border area between two rival gangs that have been at each other for at least for the last year or so.
What's been going on there?
It starts with one coming in and placking their gang moniker in the other one's territory, and then that culminated into a homicide about a year and a half ago.
Sergeant Reveles and his partner, Sergeant Rich Castro, get out of the car to scour the streets and alleys. They get a better look at the new gang markings that line the buildings. Everywhere you look in this particular neighborhood, Reveles is concerned.
BST was the victim of the homicide that I showed you over there. And the problem with this is, and we try to put across to the parents, is that your kid that you think is just hanging around with these guys, that's who they're going to send to do this. And you got to understand that by him just coming to do this, he just put himself at risk to be killed.
What is the message that these rival gang members are sending when they cross out the markings and put their own markings on here?
Well, this is their territory. So when somebody comes in and crosses their name out from their territory, it's a sign of disrespect.
Back in the car, and as the curfew enforcement continues, Reveles notices an underage girl out on the streets. He and Castro talk to her and explain she's violating the curfew. The girl's excuse sounds plausible, and the cops let her go, this time. Because tonight it's not about prosecution or incarceration, but rather compassion, education, and understanding. However, back at the training station, there are 51 juveniles who police say violated the curfew law. The kids go through a booking process that won't remain on their file, and then they're talked to by cops and counselors. The children's parents are also brought in for questioning, where they too receive counseling, and only then can they finally take their kids home. Tonight, the youngsters get educated. Ordinarily, the legal consequences of violating curfew laws could include misdemeanor criminal prosecution, with penalties ranging from fines to 6 months in jail. But the real goal here is to make sure these kids are not on the streets, making bad choices that could affect them for a lifetime. In Anaheim, David Nazar reporting.
All right, time now to take a check of Orange County.